Hi. This this question just came to me by a good friend, and Mary's with us, my beautiful icon, and my beautiful orchids that my kids from Hawaii just touched base, and the beautiful pillow that says smile. So this is my Sunday, Holy Wisdom, Holy Word. I got this message from a friend, and I'll send you this light. The candle is lit, Holy Wisdom, Holy Word. And light a little bit of sage. I've got frankincense on. And Holy Wisdom, Holy Word for me is about the preciousness of our word, the preciousness of how God supports us every day. You know, this message came, this question, how do you find love? And I said, come online and we'll do a practice. So I don't see him, but if he comes, we'll touch base. How do we find love? You know, what is love? What is the witness of love? What is the presence of love? What is the idea? Love. In the Hebrew tradition, there's 5 or 6 different understandings of love, agape, many different ways, and I'll try to find that this week. But I wrote a paper on that. And, you know, when you look at love, I was married for a long time. I'll tell you, I love to tell stories. And for one thing, meditation can really do something for you, right? Meditation gives you the opportunity to step in and just pray for a minute. But how I do it is quite interesting, because I really see that the window of our door is always here, and it's a thing called timelessness. And I think if you look at some of the ancient writings, you'll find the understanding. I don't do what I do without loneliness. Of course I have loneliness. And this feeling of love, to be loved, to understand love, to find and adore what that feeling is, it comes from you. You know, so it comes from your deep gift of the presence. I would say the presence of the Holy Wisdom, Holy Word, because words integrate, and words come through so many different things. We've been given words, and so the sound of words is really in the timelessness of all time, because someone came up with the word, but it came out of their mouth, and it came out of their teaching, and it came out of that timeless moment to call something. Somebody called Mother Mary, Mary. Where did it come from? Somebody called an orchid, an orchid. Somebody called the design of this pillow. Look at the beautiful design all the way around it, the stitching. Forget the name of the stitching, but I used to know the name. It's like a herringbone, but you know, learning new craft and creating new craft within yourself, I think brings that timelessness now. When we create an understanding, I thought what I would do with this beautiful understanding of, you know, what do we call, how does one find love? You know, what do we call love? I want to stop for a moment, and I want to pull an angel card, because for me, if I'm not feeling the presence of God, I have to slow back down and let God share with me what wisdom is. And I don't know when it came, how many years ago it came, but the angel cards were actually made in Findhorn. And I actually made this little container. Here's the tree of wisdom. And here's the old wise, you know, the wise ones. You know, you always see the wise ones in the beard. But he lives on the back of my owl. And there's an angel praying, and there's a snake. And a snake brings us together. I don't know if you can see the snake. The snake's head is here, and there's a rabbit. And as I was making this, the hawk came. And inside it has some sacred little crosses, some ideas. And as I go back and I look at this, I question, like, where was I in that moment when I created this little connection? And I bet it was trying to discover, how does one find love? Because for me, the angels are very key to love itself because they're timeless. They're available. And so stopping to pray, stopping to open yourself up for prayer, stopping yourself to open yourself up to the divine wisdom, the divine love, the divine consciousness, the divine creativity, the divine presence. Just to be present takes the divine, because you're putting an intention to be with the divine. Centering prayer gives us an opportunity to pick a word. So we're going to pick an angel card instead, and we're going to stay in that for a couple of minutes. Spontaneity. Now, centering prayer, you can pick a word and you just stay with it. And right now the angel here is kind of got like a stance, like, So let's see if you can find her. She's got this stand. The angel of spontaneity. It means I came on when I heard this and I said, let's go online. I went and I lit the candle and I brought my orchid over and I asked the divine to be present with me, because it's not me that wants recognition. That wants something, but the angel of spontaneity has come to us, right? How we bring something into us in the moment. Prior to that, I went to my cupboard, and I loved giving out these cards for years. I taught and I did many things, but I bought these cards and I said, this is kind of what I do. I pick a card and I'd give it to somebody. And none of the cards were opened. So we're going to open this card and see what it says, to believe. So, because for me, the timelessness is in that moment. We'll never have this moment again. And so I open up to the moment when I feel that feeling. How does one find love? If I have that feeling, I'm not feeling love or something, that question comes to you. So, oh my gosh, this is so this is love. This is love, okay? So this card comes to us from Wayne Dyer. It's never been opened. And I just grabbed the angel cards because Dr. Wayne Dyer was one of my favorite people to listen to, because he was spontaneous. And this is spontaneity. The angel of spontaneity had me grow and grab my cards. And here's his wisdom. It says, if you knew who walked beside you at all times on this path that you have chosen, you could never experience fear or doubt again. If you know who walked beside you at all times on this path that you have chosen, you could never experience fear or doubt again. So this is in the card Believe that I picked. But this is how God works for me. When I think about love, I have to go to that timeless place. Wayne is telling us to really live from that spontaneity. We have to let go of thinking that fear and doubt, or fear and understanding of doubt, is something that leaves us or finds us. It's basically an emptiness that he's talking about, that we open ourselves to the ideas that bring preciousness into our lives. Getting a lot of messages here. Don't know who they're from, but we're going to pick a card from Wayne Dyer. So let's see. Let's pray a little bit. Spontaneity is kind of in the theme. Bringing things into our lives to bring timelessness and thought into the mystery of life. Ask for God's help is what the name of the card is. How does one find love? You ask for God's help. Awesome. Love it. So we're having quite a fun mystery moment. Yes? You know, some people think that cards are strange, or, you know, they don't follow a biblical text, or, you know, maybe they're too much for some people, and that's okay. But you can do that by opening up a Bible or a Quran if you don't believe in what I'm up to today. But on the back it says, in the private, quiet, prayerful moment, when you do ask for divine assistance, you need not beseech God to help defeat others in any way. Instead, you might pray like this: Dear God, make me an instrument of thy love. I want to be like you. I have forgiven them, and I have forgiven myself. Make me an instrument of thy love. Where there is pardon, let me be pardoned. There's that beautiful song, and I would love to sing that. I would love to learn that. But on this card, there's butterflies, and, you know, I was singing last night. I was a little bit like that beautiful thought of love came to me. And have you ever touched a butterfly wing? That's what I was singing last night. And that feeling of bounty. And in that moment, I felt that deep divine presence of loving from the most present moment of being present in this life. You have to be present into the timelessness, because timelessness gives you all of the mystery of life. And look at the spark. And when I sent a couple of pictures to my friend, I'll show you what happened. When I took a picture, let me show you. Pravin, you should come on. Look at the picture I sent him of this session. Maybe it's hard to see, but in there is a spark, right? Holy wisdom, holy word. And I said, please come on. And that spark is what that instant moment of excess of giving back. There's that moment of giving back. There's that moment of love. There's that moment of kindness. There's that moment of care for your soul. And that soul call that you are reaching in for is right in you. Because the feeling of love, whether you've loved someone from the past and you've missed them, if you've had extraordinary orgasmic love with a partner, if you've had extraordinary love for the baby in your arms, a brand new baby, you know, what does that love feel like? It's all pretty much the same. It's this feeling in the heart. It's that feeling. And I find that in the timelessness of my life. If I go to timelessness, it's always present. And then I have an opportunity to serve and give back to others. I also got the Kuan Yin Oracle. I love Kuan Yin from the Japanese tradition, Buddhist tradition, but she's just an amazing soul consciousness. We're going to have to get a little bit more strong because it's a book with this set. And Kuan Yin brings that sacred feminine to me. And I think for me, that is the receptivity of love. That is the time when you want to receive. That is the time when you want to bring yourself to the greatest of your deepest presence. So be the present that you are. So we're going to pick a card now from Kuan Yin, and we'll read that. So I picked the card, if you just came on, the card of spontaneity. And we're going to sit with the word spontaneity in a minute. You can choose any of these that might spark in you. I picked the question when it says, you know, how do you find love? Somebody asked me this question. Ask for God's help, right? From Wayne Dwyer. But prior to that, I opened up this card, and I had just brought the cards. I have many different sets of cards that I like to play in, and I don't do that often, but I passed these out a lot when I was out in the field a lot more with the business sense out in meetings, and I always gave these cards to people. And as I opened it, it had Wayne Dwyer, and I had just picked out, you know, this whole deck out of all my cards, the Wayne Dwyer. So that is the spontaneity for the day. So, and he basically says in here, if you knew what walked beside you at all times on this path that you have chosen, you could never again experience fear or doubt. It's telling you to kind of experience all of it. You have to doubt yourself in order to bring forward. And I was talking about words and the sacred word. And so let's pick a card from Kuan Yin. And then at the end, we're going to just meditate. The Lotus Throne. That's the card. The Lotus Throne. Perfect. She's got a lotus in her hand. Woo! Powerful. So the lotus for me in the many traditions is that the lotus comes up out of the mud. The Lotus Throne. The mud, we live in a lot of mud. We live in the presence of lots of different ideas. Let's see what number this is. 37. The Lotus of Love. It says, the same lotus wisdom that enlightened beloved Kuan Yin and all spiritual masters is the very same lotus light within your own heart. Beloved, it can take great courage to trust your inner light, to ascend the throne of your own inner spiritual authority, especially of the light of others around you seems more powerful than your own. You are being asked to trust this inner guidance above all others now. Have faith in your own heart and know that you are divine. So here's the reading from Kuan Yin, the Lotus Throne. So to know that you're divine, to know that your presence of God is present to consciousness. So as we bring this forward, as we bring this little moment to a close, we're going to take 5 minutes and you're going to pick one of these, either spontaneity and that angel that just says, wow, yeah, and be in that. You're going to pick maybe from, I shared about the angel cards and they were made in Findhorn, and I made this pretty little thing. And, you could bring an angel with you on a little journey through the meditation, or an owl, or a red-tailed hawk, or a snake, or a rabbit. They all have different ideas. There's crosses inside. You can take the old wise man, and you can take, he's the tree of life, the mountain that we are all been told about. What is that? And then you could also take Wayne Dyer's idea on believe, that he said, if you always knew, you wouldn't be able to experience life itself. And that's basically what he said. And then we picked this card, ask God for help when you have that question. How does one find love? Ask God, because each of us are different. And on the back, it says, in the private, quiet, prayerful moments, when you ask for divine assistance, you need not beseech God to help defeat others in any way. Instead, you might pray like this: Dear God, make me an instrument of thy love. I want to be like you. I have forgiven them, and I have forgiven myself. So there's a sense of forgiveness in his ideas. And then there's this beautiful Kuan Yin card that I wrote. I picked. And she basically is saying to know that you're divine and look at your faith of your own heart. So any of those right now, as you sit, you can even pick the lotus itself. You can pick this beautiful orchid and look at how precious it is. You can pick the pillow and smiling, or Mother Mary, or some saint that you love, or, any of this works in this idea of divine presence to the timelessness. And you pick one thing, okay? And you close your eyes. And it would be nice if you lit a candle. And somebody just came to me on how do you find love? And I want you to feel down to your lower chakra. Now that's down at your bottom chakra. And when we close our eyes, I'm going to have you spin all the way from the earth, deep down in the earth, all the way up through the center of the body, all the way to heaven, and all the way back down through your crown, and all the way down. And different energy systems in the body are real. And energy is everywhere around us. It's not a mystery to the Bible. It's not a mystery to a faith. It's the mystery of life, So I recommend doing that practice, and you can squeeze your muscles together in your lower chakra, and it can raise the energy up. and then come back down. And when I work with people, I give them many different practices to come back to that timeless moment and the present moment, because for me, timelessness brings us to the present. Timelessness is the present. It's keeping watch with your own self. So if you have that question, how does one find love? How does one find love? One of the suggestions, we're going to close our eyes. And I'm going to hold the candle right here. So in case you just want to stare at the candle. And I'll put it up beside Mary. Mary's been very present to me. And that was another mystery that happened a couple days ago in the ancient, some of the ancient Vedas right now are saying that Mary is really coming forward in a lot of places around the world. So we'll just sit with that. But it's very present to loving just the light you can focus on. Okay, so we're going to stop. We're going to just take a few minutes and then we'll end this session. But this is how I look at the window of timelessness. And it's ever present at your door. I can guarantee that. And if you become present and you bring that presence into the preciousness of your life, you know, I'm always giving you that idea that the cup is in between birth and death. This is the cup of your life. It's the most holy time you'll ever be. And like Wayne Dyer said, you'll never experience things in between there, like faith and doubt and, you know, just anything. You might really stop right now and find that holiness within you, that divine within you, and ask God for help. And you can be spontaneous. You can really just be present. So I want you to close your eyes. Don't look at me for right now. And I want you to bring in, it's called the sweet breath. And I want you to breathe very slowly with pierced lips, like very slow. We're going to do a few of those before, if you want to open your eyes and look at the candle, that's fine. We're going to do 5 breaths, just tasting the sweetness. Just to breathe is that you're alive. Just to breathe is a sweetness. Good. And now what I would like you to do is just feel that energy of, you know, coming up through your body and squeeze your lower, you know, your sexual organ, you know, like you would do a Kegel if you're a woman, but you can do that as a man. And you're going to send the energy all the way up through the body and all the way back around and store it here. And then you can bring it down. And you can do some ohms if you want, if you're used to practicing. Aum, A-U-M, ah vibrates the belly area. Ooh vibrates the heart area. And vibrates the energy in the top chakra. And so as you do different chants, as I studied with many, many different spiritual teachers, I give practices to people. And so I'm doing a lot more of this now. I'm bringing in private clients if you're interested. But remember that timelessness is everywhere that you can bring yourself into in that moment. So the holy wisdom, holy word is so precious for every one of you. So now let's stop and we're going to close our eyes. And you can open your eyes and look at the candle. I'm going to just keep my eyes closed for a few minutes. And I'm going to pick one of those, you know, ask yourself, which one would you pick? Spontaneity, you are divine, just the picture of an orchid, beauty, the picture of emptiness, the picture of the holy divine mother, the picture of, you know, just anything, but it's nice to pick one thing. So if you do this practice on your own, just pick one word And you're just going to stay with that word the whole time. And if your body distracts, you come back to the word. And if your body distracts, you come back to the word. Okay, so we're going to start. I'm going to put a timer on. And we'll just do, let's just say that we'll do
Marcy.
a couple minutes. I'm going to do 3 minutes, okay? Let's start. There's our 3 minutes. I hope you feel different. I hope you find that presence, timelessness ever at your door, whenever you need it. Have a blessed day.